Snubbed by her own cousin? Ridiculing a tearful reality show contestant? Lashing out at Mariah Carey? By the end of this video, you'll see clearly that Jenny McCarthy isn't here to make friends with her celebrity peers.
I'm not really that much of like a celebrity lover.
McCarthy certainly didn't hold back when the subject of Lala Kent came up during her appearance on Watch What Happens Live in 2016. Calling the Vanderpump Rules star a, quote, full-blown hooker, McCarthy referenced Kent's trip to Italy, which Kent had said was for a modeling job. McCarthy said, "I'm sorry, but the girls that go on trips with these men that have tons of money, that, to me, is a form of prostitution." And she says she didn't spread her legs. Everybody else did except for her. Sure, Lala, sure.
I let him hit it the first night and we were inseparable.
To her credit, Kent let McCarthy off relatively easy, responding on Twitter, "Shout out to Jenny McCarthy for shouting me out, and shout out to Hugh Hefner for putting that bitch on the map." Burn. Still, the reality star seemed to have forgotten all about the beef 3 years later when she agreed to be a guest on McCarthy's show. In 2016, Tara Reid popped into McCarthy's show to promote Sharknado 4, and the actor wasn't impressed when talk turned to matters outside the sci-fi franchise. Things got off to a frosty start when McCarthy dug into Reid's recent appearance on Marriage Boot Camp. To that, Reid responded, "It's not worth the time to talk about. Babe, I asked you. Please let's not talk about that show. We're all here about Sharknado." When McCarthy then brought up the subject of any future plastic surgeries, Reid snapped back, having reportedly clarified many times that she has no plans to go under the knife. And then she left the chat.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Tara's freaking out!
McCarthy continued the show with, "Good luck to you, Tara, and I'm so excited about Sharknado, and I hope you stay married. I hope your knees get a little wobblier than they already are." E! News reported that Reid's rep claimed her client had been bullied during the interview and accused McCarthy of shifting the topic, quote, for her personal gain.
I just think she was just a nasty person. Like, why are you, picking on me? I didn't even understand it.
Amy Schumer certainly didn't appreciate McCarthy being so rude to Tara Reid. During an appearance on Opie with Jim Norton, Schumer argued, "It really seemed like she was just bullying her. I mean, to be like, you're not walking out of here until I hurt your feelings. Like, just what are you doing?" Schumer also revealed that she has a personal beef with McCarthy, citing an incident in which McCarthy was rude to one of her friends. Schumer said that she thought of taking aim at the former playmate on Inside Amy Schumer, but ultimately decided against it. She added, "I don't know, Jenny. I've never met her. But be nice to other women, especially other women in this disgusting business. That's all I can say." McCarthy versus Amanda Bynes just might be the most quickly resolved celebrity feud of all time. In 2013, a tiff between the two materialized when McCarthy tweeted that Bynes' Manhattan apartment was being visited by cops. She posted, "I hope they get her help. Enough of this circus." But there wasn't a circus to supposedly be helped. And Bynes was more than happy to set McCarthy straight, replying, "I need help? What are you talking about? Aren't you 50 years old? I'm 27. You look 80 compared to me. Why are you talking about me? Police weren't at my house, old lady. Shut up." McCarthy swiftly apologized, insisting that she was simply looking out for the former child star. Quick to forgive, Bynes soon responded, "Thanks. I'm sorry I offended you. You're beautiful. I was lying. I'll delete our tweets."
I'm so sorry about everything I said. I'm so sorry. Can we please be friends?
It's fair to say that McCarthy isn't exactly known for her tact, and she didn't handle the revelation that Charlie Sheen was HIV positive with even a shred of grace. Shortly after the news broke, she told her show audience that the actor should have disclosed this information years prior, referring to several on-screen kisses she shared with Sheen on 2.5 Men. She said, "I feel like in playing a love interest, you would think there would be some type of, I don't want to say criminal issue, but I don't even know how to feel about that."
He's actually in a pretty vulnerable place right now.
And you think I'm taking advantage of him?
Well, aren't you?
Despite the science on the matter, McCarthy went on to wonder why Sheen wouldn't be forced to disclose his HIV status to production when she had to disclose the fact that she gets cold sores. But as you'd expect, Sheen was more than happy to salvage a bit of his reputation. He said on the Kyle and Jackie O show, "Jenny McCarthy should go back into her past and murder her math teacher. You know why? Because her simple math skills are She's like, I kissed him, I touched him, and I was like, your math sucks. I didn't have it then." McCarthy's appointment to The View in 2013 wasn't greeted with universal applause. Regarding the star's opposition to child vaccines, the Every Child by Two organization even contacted production, alleging unfounded claims that vaccines cause autism have been one of the greatest impediments to public health in recent decades.
You guys want me to keep it clean.
But McCarthy's medical opinions aside, many still felt she wasn't a good casting choice. Julie Chen, a regular co-host of The Talk, told Howard Stern, "What made The View so popular and so good was that you had 5 different women from 5 different walks of life discussing politics. What put them on the map and made them good and famous, they don't do that anymore. No one wants to hear Jenny McCarthy talk about the New York mayoral race or politics."
That's how I feel. I don't think she was suited for what they used to do. I don't know if they want to change their format.
Of course, McCarthy ultimately didn't get much of a chance to talk about anything. She was given the boot after just a year. The main reason why McCarthy has become a media punchline has been her anti-vax stance. For her part, McCarthy believes her son's autism was caused by vaccines. But comedian Jim Jeffries didn't pull any punches when he touched on the topic for his 2016 Netflix special, Freedom. The Aussie reflected on a conversation he'd had with his then-girlfriend about inoculating their son. After asking her where she got the idea that vaccines can lead to autism, he recounted, she said, "Jenny." And I said, "Don't even f***ing say McCarthy. Don't even say it, because that's not evidence. That's Jenny McCarthy." Jeffries noted that he had nothing personal against the star, but that he preferred not to get his medical advice from a, quote, comedian and a playmate. You wouldn't expect McCarthy and the frontman of All That Remains, Phil Labonte, to ever make a headline together, but McCarthy's fervent anti-vaccine beliefs ensured that they both popped up in the same news story in 2015. Labonte pointed the finger for the rise of the anti-vaccine movement squarely at McCarthy, telling Radio.com, "It's her fault. She's the one who started the whole 'you're gonna get autism' thing. So nice f***ing job, Jenny. But you know, it's science. It's a real thing. It's like this. Polio isn't a problem anymore. You know why? Because of the polio vaccine." Labonte also suggested that people thinking in line with McCarthy should be penalized if they choose not to have their kids inoculated. He said, "I heard someone on the news this morning suggest a fairly realistic solution. If you don't want to vaccinate your kids, they can't go to public school. I would say if your kids aren't going to public school, that should be reflected in your taxes." McCarthy really stepped in it when she grabbed Christina Applegate for a chat on the 2019 Emmys red carpet. It immediately became clear that McCarthy, or her producers, hadn't done their research on the Dead to Me star when McCarthy asked, "I know you were nominated for Friends being a guest star role. Tonight you're nominated for your show. First time, right? Lead actress?"
Oh, that's awesome. Crap.
For the record, Applegate had already received 2 nods in the category for another sitcom, Samantha Who, as she was keen to point out. To add insult to injury, Applegate also won Outstanding Guest Actress in a Comedy Series for her work on Friends. On top of all that, McCarthy implied that she was much younger than Applegate, when in reality, there's only a year between the two. Based on how Applegate reacted, we're guessing she wasn't too happy with the host. Or, as The Cut put it, Christina responds by looking like she wants to die. When it comes to actual Hollywood cousins Jenny McCarthy and Melissa McCarthy, it just might be the case that opposites attract. They have even, on occasion, come to each other's defense. Jenny once stood up for Melissa following a scathing 2013 New York Observer piece that claimed in a movie review, "Tractor-sized Melissa McCarthy is a gimmick comedian who has devoted her short career to being obese and obnoxious with equal success." Jenny clapped back, explaining to E! News, "For anyone to attack like that, it's just wrong and hurtful. And it doesn't do anyone any good, you know?" But according to reports, things may not be as pally between the pair as Jenny likes to make out. An insider reportedly claimed to Star that Jenny once told Melissa she'd never make it in Hollywood due to her size, a story which Jenny later told People was total bunk.
We're just in opposite worlds now.
Melissa then added fuel to the fire when she admitted to Howard Stern that she would be skipping Jenny and Donnie Wahlberg's wedding because they're all living completely different lives. Speculation about how Donnie Wahlberg's family really feels about his wife, Jenny McCarthy, has been rife ever since they first got together. Brother Mark Wahlberg got tongues wagging when he failed to show up for the pair's wedding in 2014. As E.T. noted, Mark claimed he was too preoccupied with his daughter Ella's birthday to attend. But it's Mark's wife, Rhea, who appears to have the baddest blood. While Jenny was sporting a pink do in 2015, Rhea posted to Twitter, "Don't you think after age 25 it might be strange for a woman to dye her hair pink, purple, green, or any color of that sort?"
Midlife crisis.
Donnie quickly stepped out in defense of his wife, tweeting, "Imagine the depth of pain somebody must be in to be unkind to another human being." Rhea later apologized for the burn. McCarthy made herself another semi-famous enemy in 2016 when she insulted a tearful contestant who was eliminated from The Bachelorette. Referring to Derek Peth, the season 12 competitor who was sent packing after a 2-on-1 date with JoJo Fletcher, McCarthy tweeted, "Is it wrong that I have a maniacal laugh while watching Derek cry?"
It was a really hard time for me.
Peth took umbrage with McCarthy's remark, firing back on Twitter, "This is as acceptable as your fight against vaccines." In 2016, Mariah Carey attempted to ring in the new year with a medley of her greatest hits, only to be plagued by technical mishaps. Initially, co-host McCarthy felt sorry for Carey's plight, later sharing on her show, it was so bad. And then for a moment I said, take a step back, Jenny, and try to find some empathy right now. And I did.
How many times would we all like a second chance at something?
But all empathy went out of the window when she learned that Carey had called out the New Year's Rockin' Eve producers for using the production mishaps to embarrass her. McCarthy snapped, "Our egos, of course, want to blame everyone but ourselves for mistakes. But I literally had a visceral reaction to her saying that Dick Clark Productions did this on purpose and for ratings." She then criticized Carey for failing to do a sound check, argued that her voice isn't what it once was, and claimed Carey was standing too far away from the prompters to see that they were actually working. Carey later took to Twitter to post, "Shit happens. Here's to making more headlines in 2017. Carey never responded directly to McCarthy, but one could argue that her silence is a zinger in itself. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Nicki Swift videos about your favorite celebrities are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.